Hello, design class. What I want to do today is get you started on the half portrait value drawing that we're going to do. So I'm hoping that you were able to get your sketchbook from the high school. If you didn't, you can still get one. Mondays are the pickup day. Inside of those sketchbooks, there was extra, like larger paper for bigger projects. There were also pictures like this one. There was probably two in each sketchbook because I wanted to be able to give you somewhat of a choice on what you want to do. You by no means have to do the picture that came in your sketchbook. If you have access to a printer, you can by all means print your own picture. The key to this is that it has to be a picture of someone that's straightforward, so their head can't be turned like this. The other thing you want to try to do is make sure that it's not tilted, although you can still work with a tilt as long as it is straightforward. So I am going to do a picture of Prince, one of my favorites. I hope you know who he is. I hope so. So I'm going to start with him. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line down the center of the face. And just to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put little marks on the paper where I think the center will be. So I'm going to mark right between the eyes, center of the nose, right like the center of the mouth, and the center of the chin. Hopefully you can see that. Have these little marks there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the line. If you have a ruler at home, that's great. If you don't have a ruler, fold up another sheet of paper. All you need is a straight edge. You wouldn't even have to fold it, I suppose, but I fold mine so that it's a little thicker. So what I'm going to do is I am going to draw a line. Basically, it's like connecting the dots. Okay, so your picture will then look like this. From there, what I'm going to have you do is probably just cut it. You could fold it if you wanted to, but I'm just going to cut it to make it easier. Okay, so what I'm going to do then, and you can do this in your sketchbook. Mine doesn't have the holes out, it doesn't matter, but your sketchbook works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one side of that picture and I'm going to tape it onto what would be your sketchbook paper. Now when you cut this or draw that line down the middle, if you have a picture and their face is tilted or slanted just slightly, you might notice that your line doesn't go straight down the center of the page. You can't just fold this in half and expect it to line up. Okay, so you have to make sure that you do put those points on, that you draw the line down the center of the face, not the center of the paper. Okay, and then you're taping on that one side. Okay, what you're going to do from there is you're going to try to draw the other side of this face. Now, what you don't want to do, you don't want to set this one on and try to trace over it and put an imprint on the paper because it will be very obvious that you did that. So don't do that. What we're going to do is we're going to use the proportions and figure out where things need to be on this paper. So you should have already watched a video on Schoology that talks about proportions. So you should be somewhat familiar with where things will go. You're only drawing the one half side of the face. You're not going to end up drawing the whole thing. You're just drawing what's going to be over on this side so that you're going to try to make it look like it's one picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler and I'm just going to lay out some guidelines on what I already know about proportions. So I know that faces are symmetrical. So I'm going to use my paper and I'm just going to draw a line across from one eye to the other eye, like where the underside of the eye would be and also where the top of the eye would be. And I'll show you that. And I'm going to draw very lightly. For the purposes of showing you on the video, I have to draw a little bit darker, but for you, make sure you draw lightly because you're going to end up erasing some of these lines. So this is what I did, is I went from this eye straight across there, okay? And then I'm going to measure. So I know that the width of my eye is equal to the distance between the eyes here. So this width, if it were 1 inch wide, it would be 1 inch wide between my two eyes. So I'm going to measure that. So I'm actually going to set my little paper here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set it on an eye, and I'm going to mark where that eye is at, or how wide. Okay, so I marked it. This way. So I've marked it, and that's going to be the width of the eyes right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this over to the inside point of the eye, and then where the edge of the paper is, I'll be able to put a mark. And that is where the next eye should start. Let's try that. I almost did it wrong. Okay. So it looks a little something like that. So I just marked it. That's how wide the width of the eye, or the distance between the two eyes should be, would be that distance, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this paper over. And you could do this with a ruler. I'm just doing it with paper because that's what I had in front of me. Is I'm going to slide that over. There's the end. And then you can see where that mark on the paper is. That's where I'm going to put the mark on the actual project paper. That's how wide the eye should be. Basically, I'm just measuring it out. Okay, so I've got it marked, just like that. Again, I had to draw pretty dark so that you could see it on your paper. You want to keep those lines pretty light because you're going to have to erase it. And then from there, you should be able to draw in the eye, or just kind of sketch in where you think that eye should be. So I'm just going to sketch out a little something. This by no means will be perfect to start with. It's just kind of getting you in the area where it should be. It's going to look a little goofy at first because we're not even anywhere near being done. So it's just getting things where they should probably be located. The next one that I might do actually would be to take my picture here and go straight across from where that eyelid is at. So if you can see that, I would measure that over. So you can see I put another line on top. That's where the eyelid would be. If you remember from the video, it says that the inside points of the eyes should line up with the outer part of the nostrils here. So if I go like this, you can see that that lines up. Hopefully, doesn't on everyone, but hopefully. So I'm going to take my picture, and I am going to draw straight down from the center of the eye. Put it down so I can have something to hold it against here. Okay, I drew it really far. So you can see that that's where that's going to be. It's going to be located. So the outside of that nose will be right in this area. Okay, so I'm just going to put in like a little bit of what I think the nose might look like. Something like that, if you can see it. Okay, that's how wide it should be. We also know that the outside corners of the mouth should line up with the center of your eye. So, see that? Okay. So on my picture here, if I go to the center of my eye, right in here somewhere, and I draw a line straight down from there, that would be the width of the mouth. So let's try that. I'm going to put in a little eyeball so I can gauge better on where the center is at here. It's really goofy, right? Center of the eye, I'm going to draw my line down. Hopefully it's pretty straight. You can see, there's my line. So that's how wide the mouth should be. So I'm just going to sketch in where I want that to be. I'm also going to erase that little line that I have, that I brought that line down for the nose. It's a little bit long. It's kind of in my way. So I'm going to move that. So we're just going to sketch in kind of where the mouth would be. Again, it's just a really quick sketch. Okay, it's going to look goofy because we have no value on it yet, and that's part of this project is, number one, getting the proportions correct, and then number two, adding the value to it to make it have lightness and darkness. So it's just going to look a little goofy. I am going to compare it to the other side that I took off. All right, this guy is going down this way a little bit. So we're just sketching things out. And again, this is approximate. This is just helping you somewhat get things where they should be. Again, not everybody's face will fit into the proportions exactly. So you really have to look at what it is you are drawing because everybody is different. Okay, from there, what I want to try to do is maybe get the outside of the face put in where I think it should go. One thing that I could do is I could just measure this. I could measure it with my pencil and say that's how far it is, and then I slide this over, and then I make a little mark with my pencil. Or I could use a piece of paper. Again, I could measure it, mark it, slide that over, and then mark it. This is harder than it looks. So that's going to be where the edge of my face is, or Prince's face, I should say. And then you can just kind of start to sketch in where you think that would be. Oops, I gotta get it lined up. I need to tape my paper down. There we go. I'm gonna tape him down here. I'm actually gonna double stick my tape. I'm gonna slide this underneath here so that it quits moving on me. All right, that looks good. Okay, so now it's not going to move on me anymore. But that's how you would get this started. Again, you're trying to draw the other side. You're not necessarily trying to make an exact replica of this side. You really want it to look like this side. And so you can hold that up. You can kind of look at it. Try to get things drawn in where they need to go. Got to get that hair in there. That'll be fun. If you can get just a generalization in where they go, that is extremely helpful. Get this lined up again. It came off. I moved it and then it came off. All right. So I'm going to look at this again and kind of measure it. I might even say I could measure over. I could even hold this one. Again, don't push on this and try to trace it. You don't want to do that. But I can measure it just like I've been measuring everything else. And I kind of went like that, and that's why I marked it. And then I can slide this guy out of the way. My paper is still there, so I'm going to mark where I had marked that original. And I just put, this is where the edge of that hair is going to be. Okay, it's got big hair, so it's going to be out there a little ways. I'm just going to draw in kind of a generalization in where that would be. You can see that. Okay, I don't know what it looks like. I got to really look at it, but there we go. Okay, so I'm still just kind of adding to that. Next thing I might do is I might put in where the hairline is at. Kind of bring that down and around. Okay. Right. The next thing that I might do is put in where I think that ear is. So if it's here, come all the way across, take your trusty ruler or whatever it is you were measuring with, like that, and just mark it. Okay, so that would be where my ear is. And if you really look, again, remember to look at the side that you're actually drawing. I can tell that the ear is way up here. So I want to make sure I mark that and look in that way, right? So I'm going to mark that. Basically what I did there is I went from the top of the ear here, and I'm going all the way across over there. Okay? So you can see I have it marked. That's where the ear is. Does the ear stick out like that? No, it doesn't do that. You only see a little tiny bit of that ear. So when you look at it, you're only seeing a little tiny bit. I usually tell people it's kind of like a C shape, but it's a really, really condensed C shape. So you don't want to do this big ear out there. I'm going to erase that now. All right. So it's kind of like that C shape. I'm doing this side, so it'll be backwards. So something like that. Okay. Last but not least, we do want to make sure we put in the neck or the shoulders, whatever it is in there. You don't want to just have this weird floating head. So I'm going to look at this guy again. See, he's like from right by the back here by the jaw, just slightly above where the jaw is. I'm going to pull that down almost to the corner, but not quite. So I'm going to go here, pull that down. Okay, so if you're looking at it like that, you start to see that it's coming together. It's not perfect by any means. Do not worry about it being perfect right away. All you want to do at this point is just get this stuff set up in where it should go. Once you have that, make sure you step back from it. Have somebody that's at your house hold it for you, put it up on a window, whatever you have to do. Get at least 5 feet away from it and look at it, because looking at it seriously close up and looking at it really far away, it'll change your perspective a little bit, and you'll be able to see if things are too big, too small, if they are too far left, too far right, too far high, or too far low. So make sure you get back a little bit and take a look at it from there. So this is just the first part of this project, is getting all of these things located where they need to go. And then I'll probably do another video in helping you get going on the shading aspect of this project. So I hope that this helped. Let me know if you have questions. Okay.